Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the kind of new and improved Deceptilab. As most of y'all know, I said I couldn't stream last week. I had like, right on Wednesday, had some issues with my hard drive. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But anyway, yeah, you're going to see a couple of things. This going to be kind of a new look, this stream and whatever. So, this is my new Deceptilab. So, let me know in the chat what you think about it, stuff like that. But today, we're going to take another look at D-16 and Orion Pax. You know, the endurance event is next week. And yeah, man, like we got the G1 core today in playtest. I hadn't actually used it yet, so you guys will actually see my first test on that today. And then we're going to talk about, like, I've been trying to work on that tournament for a little bit, and I had actually made a bunch of progress on the bot tournament that I was putting together. I've been talking about for like 2 months. Uh, and I had started making a bunch of progress on it, and then that's when I lost my hard drive. But um, some stuff I did keep, so I'll explain the rules for that because you should start to be able to see that come out probably as early as tomorrow. You should start seeing content, but no later than the end of the week. So I'll talk about that a little bit. And the last time I talked to you guys, I was talking about underrated bots. So this time I want to talk a little bit about underrated combats. So yeah, so should be a pretty good stream. But before we get into any of that, of course, we got to go take a look at this week's newsletter. And we got this week's event. It is called the Big Broadcast, week 3 of the current saga. And yeah, man, just a nice chill event, 10K event before the week of the endurance. So some of the prizes that we got coming this time: 40 of the triple changer crystals, uh, one of the War for Cybertron skin cores, up to 2.5k 4-star shards and 7.5k to 3-star shards. You'll get some 500k Troop XP items, up to 350k Spark, and up to 2 million of Alloy and Energon. So not too bad of an event, nice chill event before we go into that endurance next week with the typical battle zones. Daddy Pig, I see in the chat, says copy and paste event. I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, they just changed out which bot class they used, which honestly I'm fine with. As long as I told them a long time ago, and they must have actually listened, because I was like, look, if you rotate the bot shards frequently, then that means you're always going to be able to stack up the shards for those bots, and that means you're always able to cash them in for 4 stars and ultimately get a bunch of additional points. I mean, a bunch of additional 5-star shards uh, by doing that. Or you can save them for ranks. So for those particular bots, if any of them you use. So I like when they do the combining ones, and I like when they do the ones for just a particular class, especially the smaller classes, because then it'll be easier to do like triple changes and healers and stuff like that. All right, some game updates and information. So it wasn't a whole lot in the newsletter just go around. So they were just saying thanks to everybody that did the survey last week. It definitely was. There's a lot of good questions in there last week, and I wanted to talk about that. But I obviously missed the stream last week. But yeah, and then they were having a little fun in there, the community managers. So Callum was in there talking to Dale, and some of the stuff I already had a good idea of, because they asked Dale his favorite bot, and he says is Drift, and because he liked the glass cannons and stuff like that. So I was like, that's pretty cool. He also said that the Decepticons are the, and I had to disagree because Dale was saying that the Decepticons always look better, and I say I think it depends. I always like the Autobot skins. I always think those ones are cool, but like just as actual characters and stuff, and yeah, I give it to the cons. But so it depends on what you're talking about. and also talking about a little bit about his role. But Adele does a little bit of everything, and honestly, I really appreciate him for that, man. Because one thing that became really clear to me after I had that interview with him at the beginning of the year was that the dude really loves the game a lot, and so that's pretty much what he's emphasizing there in his little interview with Callum. So if you hadn't read that, go in there and check it out. And of course, make sure you check out your official content creators, myself, Soldier, and of course Sunstreaker Waza. Shout out to Engineer Horse, man, because Engineer Horse, if you guys didn't know, um, is stepping down as a content creator for Transformers Earth Wars. He said that he's going to take a short break and he's going to probably still make content about other stuff. He's real big into the toys and the lore and stuff like that. Um, but honestly, just want to take at least a minute, and just to thank him for all that he's done for the Transformers Earth Wars community. Every time I watched his streams, I was always, had a good time. So, shout out to him and his TFEW retirement. Huh? They said so. I didn't even read that part, but they said we're celebrating our content creators for August. Some from today onwards, they'll be able to give out 2.5 K a 5-star star. So that's news to me. I'll have to actually ask about that. But yeah, I'm assuming they're gonna do that later on in the month. But I'll have to ask them for the codes for that. I say leave it up to Big Blade to go in there and catch that. I'm glad you did though, because I said I actually didn't catch it earlier. But yeah, I'll get with Dale tomorrow and see what's up with that. All right, let's see. So like I said, it's week 4 of the second half of the saga, Endurance next week, and we got the community corner. And I said, nah, man, Optimus looking mad guilty right there. Say he didn't need all the cookies. And Meryl was in there. Actually, a Bumblebee fan, but says she loves Chromia, so that's why they were in there talking about that. And let's see, so bug fixes and improvements. So Afterbreaker is now gonna drop minions when using his special ability. So Afterbreaker and Flame War, interesting. Let's see, Roadbuster and Half Shell. So apparently they were already fixed last week because they weren't doing anywhere near the damage they were supposed to do. So they should have just said that. They should have just said it's already fixed instead of saying it was go live this Thursday. But that's coming from Callum. I read that after this newsletter came out. So and then they still got some bugs that it's taking them a little bit longer to fix. The two I want to see. I want to see that Interax and Fireglide get fixed, and I want to see Horse Stability 11 get fixed, especially since Crankcase is on my war team. So hopefully that fix is coming soon. And that's it. If any of the apes actually in there listen, man, push the Horse Ability 11 thing first, man. And that's a good question, Candy Man. I do not know what minions they're gonna drop. I was that was honestly my first time seeing it was when I saw it in the newsletter. I don't even think they usually stuff like that they don't put in tests. So I said I'll have to take a look tomorrow when it comes out. But and if you can't wait until then, I mean Space Ape is going to be streaming tomorrow, so you can always go check those guys out during their live stream and ask them the hard questions, man. No, I said don't ask me because I don't know. And it's not even that. It's just some things they just don't share with us in playtest. They just simple stuff they just run with. So, but that's all we get for the news. Let's go take a look and see who we have in the chat. All right, so you got a little bit of a new look here. Let me know how you like any of that stuff, man. All right, so I see, and I hope I'm actually at the top of the chat because I closed one of my windows earlier, but I see Candyman still waiting on his 5-star Cyclonus. I say that always makes me laugh every week because I mean they should. Well, I mean they kind of gonna have to at one point, but yeah. But welcome Candyman. Daddy Pig is in the chat with us again. Thanks for joining Daddy Pig, as well as one of my good friends and moderators, Big Blade 297, fellow content creator as well. I don't know. Did you actually share that link in there? Like, share that link for the new video you was talking about. 'Cause Big Blade always makes some good stuff. We got Trax is in here with us. Thanks for joining Trax. We have, let's see, we also have Blade 19, one of our members. Thanks for joining Blade 19. We got Kristen Jones with us again. Thank you for joining, Kristen. We got my good friend and one of my fellow playtesters and one of my members, Jacada, is with us. Thanks for joining, Jacada. Another fellow content creator, Jettison C4. Thanks for joining. Let's see who else we got. Uh, hey, speak of the devil, we'll say we got another fellow content creator in there and one of my members and good friends, Soul. Soldiers in the chat. Thanks for joining, Soul. As well as another content creator uh, and moderator and member, Dark Terror is in here. Thanks for joining, Dark Terror. And again, Dark Terror always keep that chat lively too, man. That's why I appreciate him so much. He's always got a good conversation down there. Another one of my good friends and members, Esclohasi, is in there. Thanks for joining, buddy. Let's see. I think I just skipped past something. Let me look again. Okay, yeah. Cicada said that the 5-star afterbreaker that was fixed. He wasn't dropping combats when he did his ability. Okay. Yeah, they said he was doing that with a 4-star version, but it got broken when the 5-star version was made. They corrected that. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I say I'll be honest with you, man. Like I ain't been on Discord like that. Um, I've been busy. I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. All right, and Metal G just stopped in just to say hi. Yeah, I appreciate you stopping in, Metal G. E Rods is back with us again. So thanks for joining, E Rods. And then Eric joined us. Thanks for joining. Okay, and then Big Blade did actually share that link. So if you guys are interested, he's got a link to his latest video in there. All right, so I think I got everybody. If not, just give me a tag. And let's see. Jettison C4 says, if Terror ever wins the shards, can you give me the code so I can pass it to him? Yeah, nah, I said, yeah. Nah, that's thanks for clarifying what they were talking about with the minions thing, because I said I didn't know what they were talking about. And I said, I mean, I hadn't used Flame War Afterbreaker in a while, so uh, Dark Terror. Dark Terror. I didn't finish watching your Snapdragon video, but I said I did go in there and take a look at it. I just been having a busy couple of weeks, to be honest with you. Cause so, let me tell y'all a little bit about Let me tell y'all a little bit about this hard drive. So I go to sleep last Tuesday, and I wake up, and I come back in, and the hard drive just, first off, nothing's working. Like my all of my monitors were out, which, it turns out that was just, I just had to go reboot some of my drivers. I just had to update some of my drivers. So that wound up working good because I actually thought my GPU was jacked. But then I get in here and I can't do anything. I can't get anything from my external hard drive. So I tried going into the BIOS. I tried going into all this stuff, and nothing was working. And so I spent all day trying to find different ways to try to work through it. And then finally, I was just like, man, I'm just gonna cancel the stream because at this point, it's like, it's like 2, 3 o'clock, and I'm trying to find somebody that can work on this thing. So I go send it to a company, and the company is like, yeah, we can fix it. Yo, you wild for that, tracks. But no, yeah. So I say, so they say, yeah, we can fix it. And they honestly, they just called me back yesterday, and they was like, man, yeah, the cheapest they could do it for was like $2,000. So I just said, hey, I'm gonna make all this new stuff. I just do all the stuff over again. So some of my key files that I need, I actually had in some old emails, and then the rest of the stuff I just kind of rebuilt from scratch. Um, so like I said, let me know if you like it. I might play around with some of the overlays again. But yeah, man, yeah, it was chaotic. Plus, I was going through all that while it was like my wife's birthday this past weekend. So we were out in Virginia Beach, but we were trying to entertain the kids the whole time. So we actually went out to Virginia Beach, man. And we went to the pier on the beach, and while we were out there fishing, we was out there fishing for flounder, and like a dude actually got out there and hooked a shark, like a 5 foot shark. So that was exciting. That was right before we left, and then I came back home to my youngest boy started high school football on Monday. So and for those of you who don't know, um, I'm retiring from the Air Force, so I've been trying to go do all of my stuff for that too and try to get out. So it's been busy, but I'm glad to be back on stream and I'm glad to be able to get this tournament running. So yeah, man. But before I talk about that tournament, let me go and want to go talk a little bit about D-16 and Orion Pax. So they actually got the artwork this time, so that's cool. Yeah, and that's what I said. Tracks SA for 2,000. So the thing is, they actually, they actually, $2,000 was the low. That was the economy price after a 20% military discount. So it was actually more than that. And the thing is they was like, hey, yeah, if you want to get it back to you fast, then we will charge you 5,000. And I was like, dude, that's crazy. I was like, hey. And so what I just did now is I just added all my files to, not all of them, because all my important files for YouTube I added to my Google Drive. But yeah, so yeah, they finally got the artwork done for D-16. Looking pretty cool. Let me go check out the one. I don't know if they gave us the Autobot version, which kind of sucks. They usually do, and I probably should have asked. But yeah, they just gave me the con version. Yeah, and I already see the comments coming in. And Dark Terror said D-16 looks off. Something doesn't look right. And then Track said his alt mode is interesting. That it is. And honestly, it hadn't changed much. But what we did do is get the G1 today. So just kind of quick recap. You're going to send a projection uh, dealing X amount of damage to the target, and then you're going to have a healing beacon that's going to be scaled to the target for 10 seconds upon hit. The projection is going to split into 4 more and target defenses and enemy bots. Destroying the targets with a beacon on it will grant allies 15% lifesteal for 10 seconds. So the concept is pretty cool. It's just, I'm going to go in there and test it in a little bit because um, the concept itself is cool. And it's cheap, at 3+2, it's cheap. But I'm not 100% sold that I'm going for the bot. But I understand it's a cheap it's a cheap support type bot. Um, so I'm not mad at it. But the new part that I got is this G1 D-16. Like I said, I haven't tested it yet, but it's going to increase healing by right now. Now keep in mind we just got this today, so it might change. But increase healing by 17.4%, and upon using your ability, become invisible for 6 seconds. So that invisibility piece is intriguing for me. So I want to go take a look. So let's see. Sunstrike said those stats still need some work. And I think, and don't take this as me agreeing or disagreeing with how they're proceeding with this. I actually been pretty neutral about the bot the whole time. But when I look at those stats, and I'm gonna pull them back up again since we discussing the stats. Once I actually started seeing how this thing operated, then I was more inclined to be like, all right, you know what? So they essentially tried to make him into somewhat of like a gunner. So, but like a support type gunner. So I was like, all right, cool. I think what more people are gonna have a problem with is trying to make it trying to make these characters lore accurate as possible without overdoing it. We had one point when they were talking about at one point they were talking about just doing an, a command like type brush, and I didn't think was a bad idea. I mean, that I thought was I didn't think it was a bad idea, but then you run the risk of making them better than Optimus and Megatron. So now they're not doing that. They're kind of doing this healing thing. And the thing that bothers me about it is it's very powerful. You can see that it's healing very quickly up here on against Waz's base. Oh, looks like one of Waz's old bases. And it's cheap and it works really quickly. The problem is I think that you have to have some pretty decent pathing when you're using this. And you know, yeah, I think you're gonna have to have some good pathing because that timer starts, and if you go use it to its full range, it might take you some time to catch up, and it's got to lock onto a particular target. So, but I do like the area of effect that it has on it. So it's pretty good. Um, I love having a bunch of different ways to heal, and like I honestly thought about I considered going for this bot, but I was like, oh man, as far as support bots, I already got Crankcase in there. I was like, do I really need necessarily? I mean, it would be cheaper, but I don't feel like I need. Like I actually got Crankcase in here now, which is horse for you guys on the Autobot side, and I don't have to destroy anything to get his healing, and he's got a speed boost attached. So, but I do like the concept. I do think what we ended up with is pretty cool. I do want to go back and run the battle again and and take a look at his invisibility, because I did not pay attention to that at all. But yeah. Yeah, and Jacada, and I remember you having that conversation in playtest. You said, Jacada says this is why I wanted to be a scout, so he could sprint back to the group. Yeah, and it made sense when you said it then. I mean, it makes sense now. But overall, I didn't think the bot was gonna be good when we first started it. I'm pretty satisfied with how it came out. Um, and I think it just really just depends on what it is you need. I think it's definitely a fun bot to play with for sure. Yeah, and and Jacada said the same thing. Essentially, I was saying without saying it. Once you see them in play, those stats aren't bad. Um, yeah, because Hamburger had said the same thing. But yeah, I know a couple of people were concerned. I was concerned about it. Now, when they had him to where he was supposed to rush in and he had those stats, I was like, yeah, no, that's terrible. But then when they made this the ability and he's kind of sitting back, I was like, cool, man. That's and if it wouldn't have crashed on me, I'd show you some stats from a couple of other bots. But nah, I ain't mad at it at all. So yeah, I do want to take a look at make some comparisons and like stat wise, and I also want to go take a look at that invisibility because I think it's gonna be pretty cool with that G1. Yeah, G1 always got to do something or another that's cool because and they started to get better at them because for a while I was just calling all the G1s trash for a little bit. They started getting better, and then you get to increase the healing. I think it's pretty good. All right, so let's see. So he had a 22.5K health, and I think that's the concern for most people. But if you it's kind of one of them things that we said when you look at how he plays, and then you look at they just basically gave him gunner health and made him like kind of a gunner. So I actually don't have a problem with that. I said I'm using this dude right here on my war team, and he's only got 18K health. So yeah, that's the kind of the advantage of special class. They gave him gunner like qualities, and then gave him you know mid upper tier gunner health. I see a comment that says, "Watch this one be bugged on launch." I mean that's always that's always a possibility, no matter what comes out. Usually the stuff like that though, if it does come out bugged, they usually fix that stuff pretty quickly for like an endurance bot or something like that. It's usually right away. He say I'm joking. Nah, I mean it's real though. Suggesting C4 says, does he pull himself? Nah, he's not pulling anything anymore. Yeah, he's just doing just straight up he's doing some damage, but pretty much just doing a healing support thing. He's not going forward, and I can actually just kind of just to highlight that. Yeah, now he's just kind of hanging back. I want to see something real quick. Yeah, cause he don't look invisible at all. All right, let's see. Do I have to destroy this thing first? No, he doesn't seem invisible. Hmm. So yeah, that actually didn't go back into the chat to see that, but nah, it doesn't seem to be doing the invisibility thing. But the rest of the stuff works. But that's what we'll be looking at concept wise for the ability. All right. See, I did my job as a creator. I said, Track's thinking about going for the endurance bot now. um, Kristen Jones asked me the question: is Acid Storm's ability 11 worth it? So, so I'm gonna talk about it two different ways. Because for me, if it's a bot I use, and it's a bot I use a lot, if it's a bot I use in like wars and stuff like that, and or even like if it's a bot that I use frequently, yeah, it's worth it. I mean, three, it's a 3.3+2 ability, and it just depends on how you use them. I mean, I think it's good to get the additional fire damage. Now, I will tell you this: I have Acid Storm and I have Thundercracker on my team, and I like Thundercrackers better than Acid Storms, and so I did Thundercrackers first. But yeah, I don't have a problem with going for Acid Storm's ability 11. I think it works pretty good. And I think it depends on what you use it for too. Cause like for me, I use mine's like taking out. A lot of times I'll either take out build bots with it, or I'll use it just for the anti heal, which is very rare. But it's one of those things that I'll do. So I know for a fact that I'm going to destroy that build bot when I do it. But when I use my Acid Storm on my team, as you can see, I wind up using like Alpha Trion. So um, it depends on if you're gonna destroy stuff with his ability, but then by all means, but that fire damage is on him. I think I got him at captain on the test server. Yeah, I got him at captain. So um, between that and I'm not using like an enhanced ordinance or anything. So if you can destroy anything under 7, or if you already started some damage on something, then yeah, you're good for it. Because you do have to destroy that item for the fire to spread. So those are all things to consider when it comes to Acid Storm's ability 11. And so yeah, it's always funny when people see some of my setups. So I'm gonna explain something about for me about load ups. Um, setting up bots. So I got the question: Alpha Trion Core on Acid Storm, and the answer to that is yes, because that's where it fit. And so for me, the Alpha Trion Core. Now a lot of people will put it on like their healers and stuff like that. Um, Usually, it kind of doesn't matter for me. Usually, I have either Nexus, and a lot of times I'll core flip Nexus, so I have Nexus on defense as well. But I'll either use that on the healer or the Alpha Trion. But for because the Nexus is that's a team boosting uh power core when you're actually fighting against the combiner. All you need is for it to stay alive. So I mean I've had Nexus up here. Right now I got Alpha Trion up there because that's where it fit. And then everything else that's on my squad, uh, it fit where I needed it to. So I always suggest to people, look, team needs first. And, like one of the questions, and I was actually going to do a video about this, because some of the questions that people ask constantly, uh, one of them's always, what's the best setup? And I always like to say, well, it depends on what you need. And I know people get this on my Discord and stuff. I know they probably get tired of hearing that answer, but it's the truth because, if you go in here and you ask me, somebody went in here and they asked me for Sentius Malice and Sentius Magnus, for example, and they asked me what's the best setup, and I was to tell them that the well for a power core amalgamous would be his best setup, their response to me will probably be, well, I have that on Twin Twist. I have that on Quellicon. So I was like, okay, well, are you using them in war? You know, I got questions when somebody asks me that, because the best for him would be amalgamous. And so, and that's just one of the examples. All right, so Trax said he hasn't seen a lot of difference in Slingshot's performance going from ability 10 to ability 11, and that's why I was saying that, you know, and a lot of that is probably because you got a 7K ability that you got to go try to destroy stuff with and everything. Most stuff in the game is over that 7K, but yeah, I mean, if it's a bot I use, I run the ability 11 regardless. But if you're trying to prioritize other ability 11s, then you know, list those bots down, and we can talk about that too. All right, so Trax also asks, he uses OG Jetfire with his walk team with Slingshot, and been thinking of replacing him with Silverbolt. Of course, it's on Browntown team. Yeah, no, I mean, so, and if you ever want to talk about it on the lineup or whatever, um, yeah, I mean, we can. I like, so how I came to start using Thundercracker, so Silverbolt for you guys on the Autobot side. I started using them because I didn't have any other long range build bot options. And then, like shortly after I started using them, then that's when they gave him the ability 11. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool because now I can hit two targets. So, what usually happens for me is this: I'll go to a base in a war, and somebody will have, like, I'll be trying to hunt down FFD, or even sometimes like zone heal, depending on my strategy. And one of the things that I started doing is I would hit that build bot, and then the defense with the Nexus core would be right next to it. And so it'll wind up, because his ability is 27 seconds long, it'll wind up destroying the build bot, and then like 10 seconds later, it'll destroy whatever is holding the Nexus core. You know, within reason, you know, obviously you're going to have the healing cluster back there, stuff like that. So that could play a factor. But yeah, so that's why I like it, because it can go up to two targets. Yeah, it's a max. Bro, like, Jetson C4 asses is a max Leozak up there. I mean, yeah, I've been showing it up here for a while because I'm on my test server. So, and you know, when he became a 5 star, and then when he got his ability 11, then that's when I really started to like him. So yeah, I got him up here on the test server maxed out. Hey, speak of the devil, Callum's in here. Thanks for joining, Callum, one of the community managers over there for Space 8. I'm giving Trax too many good ideas, so now he was like he gonna take his Silverbolt the ability 11. See, I was telling him, Callum, I said I'm doing my job as a creator today because I'm out here selling all kinds of stuff. All right, so, but yeah, definitely go on the Space Ape stream tomorrow. Ask any questions you got, especially regarding the new endurance bot. Um, Supposedly, there's going to be a new feature that might get talked about tomorrow. So fingers crossed that this new feature that's supposed to save us some time on events. So I hope that gets announced. And if Callum, if you are still in there listening, if you know something about it, is that still the plan? Are they going to talk about that tomorrow? So yeah, definitely looking forward to the Space Ape stream tomorrow. Yeah, that's what Deluge looks like with ability 11, by the way. I saw Hamburger asking. All right. So real quick, before I move on, I want to talk a little bit about the tournament that I'm going to be having. And so I'm going to refresh real quick what we talked about last time. I'm not going to go into detail, but um, well, first off, let me actually go look at the bracket for this thing. And I actually do not know where the bracket went, so give me a second. Well, we can talk about the tournament structure real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting together a tournament using, and I already seeded all the different bots. But it's going to be just kind of like a March Madness type elimination bracket from all the bots. And I took out all the top bots in the game to go make this thing. And I took out all the bottom ones that didn't get used in the Unicron tournament that was back in March. So it's going to be 6 rounds to this thing, starting with 64 bots total, single elimination. And the only means of entry for it is going to be on the Google form that I'm going to send out. So I've already got it built. It's really easy for me to track all the votes that way. So it'll be like 1 entry per person, and whoever the community votes for is going, in regards to the bots, they're going to move on to the next round. So let's see, bro, where did I? Let me see. And so when you actually look at the when you look at the sheet that I got up here for, and I'll actually probably start sending that out on Friday. But when you look at the Google survey that I have up here, it's basically just gonna ask you what bots you want to choose, and I'm gonna do one of those each round. And so, because there's gonna be winners each round, so I'll give out different amount of Freezy chests for each round. Right now, I'm planning on giving out. Let's see, I gotta find it in my notes. I was planning on giving out. So there's gonna be at least 1 winner for each round. So it's gonna be whoever has the most votes or whoever has the most correct out of that bracket. So like in the first round, I'll give out 1 Freezy chest per correct answer. So it could be somebody that walks out of there with 32 Freezy chests because it's 32 matchups in the first round. If you get them all right and you would then that's what you would get. Um, but whoever has the most, and there can be a tie, and then I got enough for that, and so I'll give out Freezy chests for each week, and it's gonna get to be a little bit more Freezy chest each week, but it's gonna be less bots still left in the tournament, so it'll be pretty cool. Overall winner is gonna get a $50 Amazon gift card. Now for this part, you're gonna need to play through all 6 rounds, because what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go see who has the most correct, you know, for the total tournament, and that's who's gonna get the gift card. And so, should be really fun, and yeah, you should be seeing that stuff really soon. But I do not know. That's kind of weird though. But this is what the bracket looks like. Like I said, I'm not going to read through it again. Like I read through it the last time I was talking about it on the stream. But ultimately, it's going to break down into 4 different regions. I got the Tripticon region, Iacon region, and all these guys are ranked. And all of these are based off of just straight up stats. So Kaon region and a Metroplex region. And the reason why I want to do something like that is like I just wanted to, because I'm gonna make a video for each one of these as well. So you're gonna be able to wait until the videos come out, or you can, once I start the surveys, you can just go ahead and fill it out, make sure that you get your votes in. So, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about some of the bots that we don't talk about. We always talk about the same 15 bots or so. Let's talk about something different. So it'll be fun, and it'll be a lot of prizes given out, and somebody can win $50. So I mean, why not watch it, and why not why not participate in the tournament? So yeah. So all right. So let me go back over to the battlefield. So yeah. All right, let me go take a look in the chat, see what's going on. So hamburgers, and when they bring in Deluge to a 5-star legacy, that's gonna be that's gonna be a long time, man. Cause dude ain't been out that long, and we still got a backlog of 5-star legacy. So okay, and Callum did confirm that they'll be talking about that new feature tomorrow. So yeah, nah, I'll be there. I'll be there. I said you supported my stream, I'll support yours, SG Dale. Nah. uh, yeah, Callum said the tournament looked interesting. I appreciate it, buddy. I'm. It's still tripping me out that that stuck. Like I said that one time, like at the beginning of the stream, and now like that's all we call Callum is SG Dale. Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, man. So all right. So I said I was going to talk about these combat bots, and I probably need to. I got my notes on my phone today, so I probably need to charge my phone because I didn't charge it last night. But so yeah, a couple of weeks ago we were talking about just different underrated is what we were talking about, and I think it fits the theme because we are getting ready to do that tournament, and I mean, honestly, that's what I made the channel. That's why I made the channel when we first started out. I made the channel to just talk about something different other than just the same top 15 and stuff like that. So I think I got the list down to about. Okay, I got it down to five. I had it at like six. I picked five underrated combats. So let me know in the chat. Are there any combat bots that we got in the game that you would consider undervalued or underrated by the community? Because I can definitely, I can, I feel pretty strongly about this particular five. Now, granted, there's a lot less combat bots than there are regular bots, but yeah, this there's some of them up there that I just really like. That I just they the people outgrew them, but or they just never caught on to them. But oh, okay, yeah, I appreciate it, Callum. Callum joined right in time because he'll reach out to me about being able to give out that stuff. Man, I ain't even gonna give them out. I'm about to open up the 2.5 K 5-star shards for myself. No. Oh, let's see. Don't tap on glass. Asking the tough questions. See, since he got Callum down there, he was like, "What's up? What's the word on the extra con for war?" I was like, I, and I know you're not asking me. I know you probably asking him, but do we actually need that? Like, I thought the whole point of adding that fifth outpost was to try to make things harder, and then we didn't just say, "Oh, we added a fifth outpost. Let's add a ninth shuttle bot." All right, so this is what I this is what I got on my list when I was looking at combat bots this afternoon, and I'll probably start with the one this underrated, but probably not so much. And that would have to be Baru and Windstrike, and only because it's hard for me to call something underrated when he makes a bot do 50% more damage, and we seem to be in the era where you have a lot of you've got a lot of special class bots, melee special class bots coming out these days. Then you add the binary bond to it, carries them all the way up to 65. Now, I know it intrigued some people when I first started showing the stats. When they first started talking about binary bond, I get it. So, probably more people are using them now than they did. But I just, he hasn't changed much since he first came out, and people just weren't going for it, especially with their melee, melee specials. A lot of people, which I never understood, like a lot of people will still using this setup on their team, and of course, they would use Quintus with it. But it's just I don't know, man. like people really just clung to that. Like once it was the meta back in batch one, but I don't know. I just felt like he's a little underutilized. I see some good answers down there, and I actually evaluated all of those guys too that you guys are talking about. Because Trax said the Dial is underrated, and the same with Rogue Buster and Red Heat. Okay, nah, I respect that. Jettison C4 said Tiger Chest. All right, and but he says his vote for underrated is Tunbot. But yeah, so yeah, y'all got some good ones in there. All right, so let's see. So that's my first one. And then as the Deceptidog goes going crazy in there. All right, so all right, man. Let me get a second and get him to quiet down. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So now that's like, you know, I was thinking when I was putting together all my new stuff, and I said to myself, Deceptidog bark at least once every stream, damn near. And I said, maybe I should just have something to pause, take away all the background noise for a second while I get them situated. So yeah, I put a pause screen in there. But I told you it was gonna be some stuff, man. It's gonna be a lot of changes. Like I started getting real particular after I lost all my old stuff, and I felt like as I was trying to go recover some of my old stuff and build new stuff, I was like, man, I felt a little bit too comfortable with my routine. And so I was like, man, I'm gonna go ahead with the with the G1 headquarters background, and I'm gonna go ahead and make like a pause screen and stuff like that. So, uh, he said, what song was that? I'll send you the link for it after I get off a stream. As a matter of fact, let me write myself a note. You talking about the one on the Be Right Back? But yeah, I'll send it to you in the link. All right, cool. So, um, so we were talking about Baru. The other one that I like is actually I don't see hardly used at all these days, and that is, man, I actually really like Double Crosser a lot. Now, I will say he can be hard to incorporate into a bunch of teams, just because of how they're utilized. Like in this case, and I actually demonstrated this on stream. I actually used him with exhaust so that I could use double crossing's ability. And this is just an example, but in this particular example, I was using him on exhaust because I would use exhaust ability and then I would use double crosses when I'm not using exhaust ability. So yeah, so that's Trailbreaker for you guys and the Sound Barrier for you guys on the Autobot side. But yeah, so I like them just because anytime you can reduce damage is good. Anytime you can shield allies That's better. I do wish it was longer than 4 seconds, and I feel like that's part of the reason why he's a little bit underutilized and undervalued. Um, so I almost want to say like kick up the damage reduction even more if he's only going to be 4 seconds long. But ideally, I'd like to just see keep it at 32, and yeah, give him 6 to 8 seconds. So Big Blade says he puts sound barrier on Sludge. Okay, that's a good one. Candyman says the Ravage needs a buff. I can never see him on the playing field. Yeah, that's because there's too much stuff going on. Like he just kind of darts off, and you can never tell what Ravage is gonna do. So, hey, Daddy Pig said lots of ads tonight. Free's gonna have a Rolex next stream. Yeah, that's one of them things that happen once they started. That's the only drawback to when you get monetized is then you can put that stuff into there. I can moderate it though. Let me know if it winds up being a little bit too much with the ads because I can moderate it and have them go lighter on the ads. I don't need the money that bad. Yeah, sound barrier is double crosser. And he says he's got okay, so we got some people that's using them. That's good. Sunstrike uses it on Ariel. Uh, Hamburger uses it on Razor Claw. Okay, so we got some double crosser users. Good. I'm glad to see. And the thing is like I see a lot of stuff, and I'm playing in Top War, and you don't see that combat use, or maybe you don't necessarily pick up on it because there's so much going on. I didn't see it used that much. I do like it. I was using it. I was actually using it on Black for a little bit until I wound up getting better options. But once I actually did land Fangtron, then I switched it off. But yeah, cool, man. Now, one thing that was in the meta a while ago and isn't so much anymore. Let me see. Yeah, I have the 5-star this one? But Vertebrake and Rat Trap, I feel like I don't feel like necessarily they're just truly underrated. I think the meta just changed and people started doing different stuff, and it just more primarily because it changed. People changed the way that they play. But for me, I actually liked you know year or two ago when I was using SAC, um, I would actually use Vertebrake just to try to keep from getting hacked, but also keep from getting stunned. So the reason why I actually put this one on this list is because you can actually you can use this on defense. So perfect example, if you get I see people that put like Laser Optimus and Armada Megatron in their outpost. And one thing that I always check for when they come out of the outpost, because let's be honest, most people that do that, they do it to try to stun you early with that ability 11, so that you can stun multiple opponents or multiple attacking bots at one time. So the key for me is that you get that EMP immunity. Like a lot of people talk about hack immunity, and now nobody worries about hack immunity anymore because now you got Lancelon. You can use Leech. I mean, realistically speaking, you could have a whole team of unhackable bots if you wanted to, just because how many combats and power cores they get for it. The problem is, and a lot of people when they first started talking about, and what really drove people, I feel like, to stop using Rat Trap and Vertebrake was when Warrior Stun Immunity came out. And I was just like, and I had a conversation with a couple people. They was like, "Yo, don't need that no more. Warrior Stun Immunity," ignoring the fact that it stops hacking. But then it was like, "Well, you can just use Leech." But I was like, well, most people are using Leech on the rush tank anyway. So and then you can't get stunned. But then there's all the rest of your guys on your team, your special class bots and stuff like that. So I just found it interesting. Yeah, and that's the thing. Trex is like, who still uses Rat Trap? I didn't like how he runs off when you use the bot's ability. So yeah, so and that's the key thing. I I felt like more people stopped using them when it was Warrior Stun immunity. But like I said, even if I for the people who do use like those types of bots that can just easily be, I mean, if I come out there with a bot and I want him to just continue to do heavy amounts of damage on defense and not get hacked, that's a good way to go about it. All right, moving on. I was going to talk about now. Let me find them real quick. Now I haven't used this one in quite some time, but I actually, all right, well that kind of sucks because it won't go to them. But I actually like Razor Sharp and Smash Down, and it's not because of necessarily the stun. And of course, now I can't actually see what they see their tooltips. Let me see if I can back out and go back into it. Nope, it is not going to do it. All right, well, but yeah, so I'm gonna get the exact stats. So for Smashdown and Razor Sharp, so you already got the stun piece to it, which honestly I don't really care about that much. But man, that's a pretty decent size, and I wish I could actually show the tooltip up there because it, for whatever reason, is freezing up when I try to go click on Razor Sharp. Do I have them equipped? Anyone? Let me see something real quick. But that's a decent little damage boost. Um, that's a decent little damage boost that you can use on him. When I was looking into it a little bit more, because honestly, I hadn't used it in years. Then I was like, shoot, man, that's pretty decent. Oh, that's power cores. Yeah, I can't get it to go though. But yeah, like Big Blade said, you can stun the outpost or attacking bots. You can do more damage to them. And I say if you go find like a decent DPS special class melee type or something like that, especially at the rate that they've been churning them out lately, then I felt like that's something that you can use. All right, so let's see. And then of course everybody knows who I feel like is underrated, and it's primarily because of their pathing. But I don't think it's too many more that's more underrated than Singe and Pinpointer. And the reason for that is like I get it. You can run into some pathing issues. So what I've done, and most of you have been watching for a while, you know that I do I do Singe with Quintus, and I know a lot of people look at it like it's blasphemy because people's like, no, Quintus only goes with uh, Taraxodon, Pterodactyl, but yeah, I mean, it does work, and then everything that the sharks eat goes back to you as healing. Now with the binary bond, now instead of doing 32% damage boost, you're going up to 41, and your life drain's going up to 105%. But I mean, even on the 5-star level 10, life drain's 95%, not bad. So you're getting a decent amount of healing. I mean, you can do more damage to walls, but you're not going to because of the way stuff paths. And to be honest with you, if you don't know what you're doing, it can get you into trouble. But my argument is always this: if I can go make my team do a bunch of different sources of individual healing, first off, then when you heal, and when you get like an individual healing, like a power cool or a combat, is not getting it's not going to be countered by the zone blocker. So first off, there's that. And so I built my entire team around trying to just making individual ways to heal. And I see Andrew Stevenson joint saying good morning. And I say, hey, good morning to you. But yeah, I would rather. I'm just kind of person. I was like, if somebody told me there's a 5-star and it's gonna give me a 95%, or 105%, life still. I'm using it, but a lot of people would rather just use like 3-star fracas, and that's cool. But I've been in positions where I've used 5, 4, and 3-star fracas, and still use uh Singe. You just gotta have the air class bot that you're using. I feel like if you use them solely in a support role, then it works. I use it on Slipstream, which is air raid for you guys on the Autobot side. I use it on Cutthroat, which is tracks for you guys on the Autobot side, and I've had success with both. So, but because the key thing there is that range. Let me actually go and look at Cutthroat for a second. The problem there is that range gets so short. It goes into that medium range, and that was after like years ago. They did a rework because it was short range, but they did it medium. People still didn't like that. They want all their range attackers to be at long or extra long range, and I get it. Because he is going to run a little bit ahead of the pack. Um, that's what the Sharks are for. Yeah, and he's asking who was this bot on the Autobot side. Yeah, it's we're talking about Pinpointer, and Singe. So, but yeah, that was my 5. I think I can talk about all 5, didn't I? Yeah, I did. But anyway, guys, I am going to go ahead and shut down for the night. Thanks for everybody that came out, and thanks for everybody that was patient with me last week while I was dealing with my computer stuff. I do plan on working through the binary. Now I got binary bonds stuck on the mind because I just spent all the time looking at them. I do plan on working on tournament videos again because I lost all of them last week. Um, but yeah, so you should start seeing that sometime, and that'll probably be some good content to go look at during the endurance event next week and stuff like that. So if you need something to keep you entertained, but I will see you guys next week, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Freezius out.